He's pretty big, he's as big as her. When she's actually stood up now, she's got some quite height to her. Good size females. I give field treatment. Especially in Madlow. And then they come once a day to get some meals. So they can sit there. Yeah, the fence is on it. The barn owl is the most invasive. In Leicestershire, actually, there's only 20 we don't know what the statistics are this year. It's all works like a year behind, so we haven't had much. But that's our main thing, is actually breeding.
Unbuilt aircraft, and also a factory machine, touring aircraft, or even helicopters, but that didn't last very long. In the Slingsby T67M.
And as you can see from a very high performance takeoff there, it does not hang about. It's unlike its predecessor, the Alan, the correct way up underneath him. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very proud to present the Rover Group Aerobatic Team 1990. To give you some idea of the acceleration of this aircraft, as I said, the 300 horsepower with the extremely light airframe means that the aircraft is somewhat overpowered in actual fact. At the top of the manoeuvres such as this is what we call the Humpty Bump. They're experiencing negative G as they go over the top here. And they're going from about 20 knots over the top there to about 250 knots at the bottom, which means they've accelerated from 20 to 250 in about 4.5 seconds. Better than your average engine.
Joined in displays by its predecessor in its RAF training role. There we go for another slice with the leading edge of the starboard. Chipmunk no longer in mainstream RAF training service. Lots of these have passed into private hands in the last few years, where they've been lovingly maintained and flown by their owners. A few years ago there was a sour taste left in the mouths of many a Chippy owner when the Civil Aviation Authority, in their infinite wisdom, decided that some modifications were needed to the tailplane area. Debate raging a rather unusual undercarriage arrangement with those double wheels in the front there. Again, it's another tail dragger. Again, it's another little piece of history for you this afternoon. In its military version, this Piper aircraft, the L-21B, was used. The idea of this part of the display is quite simple. The balloons are released into the air, and our two pilots, Dennis Neville, who's just is easier said than done.
Mark, you say just slides through. I take it in this sort of wind, this is not an easy task at all, is it?
In still air, it would be difficult enough to do.
Exactly, so you're chasing a very, very small tree.
Perhaps not quite as comfortable on a day like today. I wouldn't think with that we had sort of 4 or 5 balloons in bunches being released, and the propeller seemed to be, as it did there, just picking off one of them.
A kill, nevertheless.
Nevertheless, a kill, and deserves a round of applause on this one to go through like that. Oh, brilliant. 1 out of 2, that's the Piper L-21B. Quite simple. They give it the ability to land on rough. Besides, no, he's not going to go for that one.
4 faults for refusal.
But the Jimmy doesn't know it's like this, the worry of our pilots, who are highly experienced, but having one heck of a job, as you can see, to keep the aircraft on station, lined up with the centre line of the runway to try and get them through.
Brilliant.
Yes, brilliant. That certainly deserves a round of applause. The idea is to get as close to the ground as possible, but definitely no kissing the tarmac with the wheels as these aircraft come round for this one. Here he goes. Yes, this is it. This is the one. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Wonderful stuff. The weekend. And here comes Dennis again. Not the sort of thing you can get away with doing in a BAC 111.
And quick.
It looks so easy, and all they've got to do is to line the aircraft up with the bouncy car, and he can get them to bounce across the wing 2 or 3 times before they fall through the air. Dennis's canopy is slightly pulled back on the Chipmunk, but David in the Piper did their fair share of direct hits in conflicts in Korea and in the early stages of the Vietnam conflict as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's in your interest to give these people a wave. That's it. They may remember your face and be nice to you in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, the air unit of the East Midlands Police. Aerospatiale Twin Squirrel helicopter. Patrolling our counties.
It was designed and built by the Mars Aircraft Company at Woodley near Reading. Actually, it was one of the first of the new light aircraft to appear immediately after the end of World War II. The first example flew in October 1945, and a total of 155 of these aircraft were built before the sad demise of the Mars Aircraft Company in 1947. And coming down to the left, the easy way of distinguishing these 2 aircraft apart is the Messengers. Now, the Mars Messenger now, it's actually painted up in the markings of
Ja, loop.
Waar gaan ze?
Ja, aan de trap.
Oh ja. Wat is dit?
and the Lancaster pilot provided the fuselage. It took part in tests as I said, it's painted in the markings. second prototype Mark 14, which is Juliet Foxtrot 319, and in such doing commemorates the work and development carried out by test pilots of both the Aeroplane and Armament Experimental Establishment, Boston Down, and by those at Supermarine Aviation. The Battle of Britain Memorial Flight was formed in June 1957. And for this season, this particular Hurricane is carrying the markings of a 261 Squadron Hurricane Mark 1, Papa 3731. This aeroplane was one of the first 12 Hurricanes to be delivered to Malta, and it was embarked on the aircraft carrier HMS Argus in the very aptly named Operation Hurry in September 1940. Once again from our left, the classic shape of the Hawker Hurricane. This is Squadron Leader Rick Broombridge. Enormous long bomber was the only bomber that any Allied bomber of World War II could accommodate the gigantic 22,000-pound Barnes Wallis.
Lined up on the display axis. With the two Rolls-Royce door engines, it'll be accelerating up to maximum military power to start today's display. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1995 Royal Air Force Jaguar. After braking right to head 60 degrees off the display line, and he rose the wings level and pitches 40 degrees nose up, flying about 4G. And spot rolls 270 degrees and pulls into a descending turn to the left to reposition on the display axis. Now the first manoeuvre of this year's display is the slow row. Slow rows to the right are generally accepted as being more difficult to perform than slow rows to the left. So Andy tells us he's quite a rare pilot and that he chooses to execute this slow roll to the right. Slow roll is flown at 500 feet and should last 12 seconds with the Jaguar inverted at ground centre. I'd like to mention that he's also a rare pilot and executes slow rolls to the right.
Harrier display pilot, flight lieutenant, and the off of the Harrier GR7. Nicely angled towards the crowd, Andy is now turned on to 45 degrees away from the display line into a half Cuban 270 roll back onto the display line.
In the cockpit. Who's pilot? Navigator.
Beautiful piece of flying. You can hear the blades flapping away. And they're going to pull up into what they call hesitation pad turns. It sounds like they're on a push bike, but don't forget they've got what I suppose you could call rudder pedals, just like a conventional aeroplane. They've got 2 sticks instead of the 1, so they're working their own mathematical and aerodynamic dance in the sky.
Nice.
And up again. Listen to those blades slapping around. Oh, what sort you dinner out? Tail chasing down the runway.
Get down, I can't see you.
It's the original terms on which the Navy was operating for a number of years now. The post-war was more or less stored by Richard Taylor himself, and his orders are still trying to do aviation. Notes the information from the Bristol Pegasus radio engine. Very good people, pilot, observer, and right back air gunner. Radar. All lights on. Okay, crew, I'm going to swap into the curve headlock and try that turn sticker off the shore. If you've seen it before, you know what you are in for. An exceptional flying demonstration. The crew for the demonstration this year, Flight Lieutenant Bildbank, who is in charge of the aircraft. He is coached by the second pilot, Captain Rekeman, and the flight engineer is Warrant Officer Smorenberg, and they are rolling down 28. Snap the wheels up, on with the smoke, and away he goes. This is an awesome display, ladies and gentlemen, and you are privileged to watch it, and I'm so... Well, there are for a while. This aeroplane is not a fighter, but it's being thrown around as such. Pilot and co-pilot working hard on the controls. The flight engineer is standing in between them, calling out the routines, calling out the speeds, monitoring the safety. Pulling over into the near vertical. This is an airliner. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is pure aeronautical magic. Landing lights on, and the pace starts to build. Just toying with you at the moment. Up into another wing over. Working hard on the control yoke, pushing on the rudders, pulling it round, feeling that G biting them into the seat. Powering down, locating the runway, monitoring the X's and pulling round. And he's going to miss them all. And the gear's down and the landing lights are on, and he's holding it there and he's waiting for the trim. Holding it gently, look at the diesel working, and the nose will suddenly go down, and it will go down in a way that will stop you. Crabbing through the air, we have a dive. Case on approach straight to the runway. In with the throttle, bring her up, ready for a round out. Slam her down onto that runway. The bad guys are out in bandit country. Down she comes, onto the numbers. Charlie 8 works his magic again, ladies and gentlemen. Puts those hands in the air and claps. Those people have done wonders for you. Charlie 8, the Royal Netherlands Air Force. Stunning. Stunning.
Tornado.
The urgent call now. Arthur Eldridge, urgent. You contact Nick Walters. Arthur, contact Nick Walters. The Tornado, there it goes, whoosh. This is very much local, based at RAF Cottesmore. And this aeroplane, while it's climbing away, we would like to dedicate to an exceptionally hard-working, depending how you see this thing, is Flight Lieutenant Mike Harlan. Tornado has two basic versions in service with the Royal Air Force, the GR1, which is on fairly called a mud mover, which means that it's a bomber, a strike aeroplane, the one you're seeing in front of you. The F3, which is the defence version, which is tasked with keeping our skies free. Standoff fighter. Up into the clear blue sky. Slow run by. See you. Wave at him. System in a moment. That's a big piece of helicopter that's moving around the sky. You saw 705 converting around before. That's anything to the altitude. With respect to the lads from 705, it seems that the Commander Mark IV can do as well. 600 carries. Nice people around. Sonar gear and pulling up into the hover. Spiralling up nicely on that more than adequate. Oh, that's a nice one. Beautifully done. The pilot's working extremely hard here, keeping an eye on all the axes, watching every element to make sure that they got the data right every time. Swinging her around. Again, spiraling upwards. A lot of power in this helicopter. Twin turbo shafts, landed at the top, above cockpit area. Both working to a gearbox to drive the road. That's the Royal Navy ensign, or no, it certainly isn't his knickers. No, it's the Royal Navy ensign. And past they come. Give him a wave, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure they'll forgive him and bring him back on board. Fabulous. That's one way to fly the Royal Navy ensign. Oh, my wife did correct me. It might not be a him in this day of equal opportunity. It might be a lady. Then again, he thinks it's a fella.
The winchman. Yeah.
Trevor here from Hampshire Sound says the man certainly does know all about G now, as he was pulled in on the turn.
The aircraft was added during this period to accommodate the various radar equipment which were under development at the time. Retired from the Ministry of Defence in 1993, and the classic aviation projects. which is the trading name for Francis and Peter Gill. They now actually own 3 Canberras, and they're based at Bruntingthorpe in Leicestershire.
And you're well aware of the large list of attractions and distractions that there are within the display arena in front of you. As we wait now for arguably the world's finest aerobatic team, the Red Arrows, 9 British Aerospace Hawks, perfect harmony. They're just assessing the weather, they're getting it again, as we were talking earlier about the Jaguar, fuel saves right. And in the back of my headphones at the moment I can hear,
ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to present the 1995 Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team, the Red Arrows. We have arrived in 9 Arrow and pulled into a loop. After pulling into a loop, we'll take this class nothing formation to Dino. Straight out of pilot is a volunteer and has done at least 6 years flying Royal Air Force fighter or bomber aircraft before he's accepted his role. A wide formation such as Big Vixen is difficult to roll accurately, so let's see how they do.
It's a different formation.
As the smoke changes colour. The Apollo resembles an Atlantic craft that landed on the moon some 26 years ago. Closing view cameras, another photographic opportunity as the team fly past trailing white smoke for the Apollo Bend. Watch how the stem of the diamond appears to move forward to form our tribute to the world's only supersonic aircraft, the Anglo-French. As they now roll and split, right at the back is Red 9 Squadron Leader Benny Ball, who did his last season before returning to operational flying. Roll upside down in close formation to join the fun.